Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Create Vision. If this is your first time tuning in, Create Vision is a platform uplifting the voices and stories of everyday people. Here to remind everyone that no matter what is going on, you can go out and create your vision. Thank you so much for listening and supporting. If stories like these resonate with you and you would like to be part of our community, please follow us at Create Vision. That's CR8TVISION. And please make sure to subscribe, rate, and comment on any podcast app. Today on the show, we have Chris Hankins. They are a non-binary creative from Inglewood, California, currently living in Northern California. They work in the cannabis industry while also creating lifestyle videos for their YouTube channel. Their hope is that when someone watches their content, they understand that Chris is someone who truly tries to live in their truth and might not get it right all the time, but they are always working on it as they figure out how to merge their everyday self with their queen self, Coco Minaj. Hey, Chris. Long time no see.
Hello, Cindy. I know. Are you gonna give them like a little background about us?
Yeah,
Like,
so can
like how we
you...
know each other?
Yeah, so if you want, I could just say like general base and then you can talk about it too. But I know Chris because we
Okay.
both went to Inglewood High School. Um, and
You know
that's,
what?
yeah, Sentinel. Hey. So that's where we met, and then we talked to each other, and we were very friendly with each other, and we we were there for all 4 years together. So we literally saw each other grow since freshman year.
Yes. Yes. So amazing. I don't know if you remember, I was telling a friend that I was gonna share this with you every year for my birthday. Do you remember you made me cupcakes? And
Yeah, I
I
remember.
and I know I always told you thank you in the moment. It was so nice of you, honestly. I've never forgotten that. I will
Oh,
always remember that. It was so much love and you did it every year and I don't think I really like shared how like big that was for me. It meant a lot, honestly.
oh,
So before we start and get into it, I gotta say thank you.
oh, yeah, of course. I really like in high school. I was really about like trying to bake and cook, and I discovered how to put Oreos in cupcakes. So I was like, let
Right.
me go.
Yes. They were delicious. They were some the best cupcakes hands down,
Oh,
honestly.
thank you.
They were so delicious every time. Like no one has made me an Oreo cupcake like Cindy.
Oh my
So
God. When you're back in Inglewood, hit me up. I'm about to make you some.
yes, yes, I will hold you to it. Trust me.
Yay. Awesome. So you say that you're actually moving. So are you going to be still in the
Mhm.
Northern California area?
Yes, so I am still staying in the Bay a little bit longer. I'm just moving like 15 minutes away from where I'm currently at into
Okay.
just a bigger spot. But hopefully, eventually down the line, I do want to make a return to SoCal. So we'll see.
How's everything going? You are creating content for your YouTube. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a YouTube channel. My username is Respect the Fem. That is just kind of how I have trademarked myself. For the longest, I tried to figure out how I wanted to incorporate just my lifestyle into like this brand of just being myself. I think that just being yourself can be an amazing brand because I never grew up and saw someone like me. And so my whole thing with my YouTube channel first started with me being able to just go back, like when I'm in my 40s or 50s, and have something to show like everything. And so I've done vlogs of my friends' birthdays, weddings, like my birthdays, like just special moments that like hopefully when I'm 50 or 60, I can sit down and just rewatch and like remember like all these special moments.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what started the YouTube channel. And then
Okay.
it kind of grew into something that really allowed me to just authentically be me and grow. And so in my adult years, I am like in therapy. And so my YouTube channel is kind of like my outlet. And so I'll get on there and like cry about whatever maybe going on in the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it is just really it's helpful for me and I'm learning it's helpful for a lot of people out there that have subscribed. It's been a really good journey on YouTube.
That's really nice to hear. I think creating in general is a nice form to just express yourself and to get what you have internally out into the world, whether it be like through photograph, because that's what I did, or painting, or,
Yeah.
just content in general. That's really nice. Can you backtrack a little bit and tell us about your background and how it has gotten you to where you are today?
Oh, um, oh God, where do I even start? So, as I went to Inglewood High School, as you know, so after high school, I attended San Jose State for 2 years, and then I transferred to Northern Arizona University. And it was there I really kind of found myself, I would say. It was the first time I was around a group of other like queer individuals that was like just walking in their truth, like honestly. And it was the first time I had really like experimented with like makeup or like just things outside of what a normal like man should be, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's where drag happened. It
Yeah.
happened very quick, very fast. My closest friend, Christian, who is also my drag mother, Candy Lipinski, put me in drag for the first time. And that was it. That was the birth of Coco Minaj. And I've always lived in this fantasy world that I was like a superstar anyway. So
Mm.
being able to get on stage and like have people watch you and like, love you and like throw money at you, it was right up my alley. I've always been very like performing. I just love performing. In high school, I was in choir all 4 years. I did drama. I was like very active, and so drag just kind of allowed me to do that still. But it also opened up this door of accepting myself in my true like femininity that I like
Mm.
claim so much now. Because I've never been a very masculine person ever. And I never really knew how to speak to being feminine, and it wasn't until being around queer people and hearing the correct terminology and understanding like non-binary and things like that, that I was able to just kind of become the person that I am today.
That's amazing. I love how just getting outside of the norm kind of pushes you to become and expand. Man, it's
Mm-hmm.
so good that that continued and that creativity pushed you to embrace your inner you, Miss
Absolutely.
Coco. So I seen your video for Champions of Change. Can you share how that came about and what your experience was like? Was that the first video where you
Oh my
actually
God.
spoke about your gender identity?
Yeah. Oh my God. You're taking me back. Yeah. Champions of Change actually. Wow, that was a few years ago. That was a video that I posted on my channel. I believe at the time it was like President Barack Obama was doing something around like LGBTQ people and like there was something that was like send in a video of your experience of being like a not like an out LGBT person, like something like that.
Mm.
And so at the time I was at San Jose State and I was in a fraternity and my fraternity brother helped me film it. And it was I think it's actually my first YouTube video that I ever put up on my channel before I even had this idea of a channel.
Wow.
And so you had to upload it onto YouTube and like send a link in. But it is where I first believe that I sat in front of a camera and actually said like I am gay, and I am blah 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 blah. And like I explained my journey of growing up and like being bullied at a young age and turning my want for really it's attention. I love I'm sure I love attention. I love like spotlight and stuff like that. So it was just the birth of that, honestly, that video. And from that moment on, like I really grabbed a hold of social media and like just kind of made my presence known and I'm here now.
Wow. That's amazing. So from then on, did you have that friend continue to like help you with your videos, or was it just you like going and trying to figure out like how the heck do I record these videos and then upload them to YouTube?
So that was a journey in itself as well. That he was the first person that ever filmed a video for me, but after that on my channel, I filmed all of my videos. I have filmed all of my videos with the exception of a few that have been done in like studios. But actually, when I first started, I bought a $100 camera off of Amazon, and I had an old Windows thing that I somehow jimmied to put an Apple software on there. And I started filming my makeup videos. My YouTube channel really started because I found a love for makeup and drag. And at the time, like, you had your Patrick Stars and your Manny MUAs and Bretman Rocks. And so in my mind, I was like, if they can do this, I can definitely sit in front of a camera and teach somebody how to do makeup, which I did for a little bit. And I figured out makeup just wasn't where I wanted to be. It's an expensive habit to have. And so, yeah, I've always done my own videos. And as of now, I record on my iPhone. And I edit on my MacBook, or I edit on my iPhone or my iPad. But I am a one-person show. I do it all.
Woo! Go, Chris. Hey, I love it. I feel like that's really encouraging for like people who are listening that, aren't taking that leap because they're waiting for like this overpriced MacBook or this lighting set that they want to use. Just do it, I feel. Just go for it.
No, absolutely. I think it's so important just to make the start and just go. And like I've been someone who has like been in YouTube for years now and stopped for like years and jumped back into it. And it was because I felt defeated in the beginning because I felt like I didn't have everything. I didn't have like the lights and the cameras and the crew, and it really discouraged me. And then I finally got to a point where I was just like, but it was something that I enjoyed doing. I love to film and I love to sit down and edit. It truly just kind of takes me away and it allows me to just kind of hone in. And so I had to just get it in my mind that I'm not here for views or numbers or whatever. I'm here to make content that in 20 to 30 years, I can sit back and be so proud of. And whoever wants to be a part of that journey will join.
I love that. That's so great. You mentioned on your YouTube was started because it was like a record of your life. Can you talk more about how it connects to growing up and feeling like there was no examples around you of a non-binary feminine individual?
Yeah. I just think when I was growing up, the only person that I knew of that was, I guess, remotely close to me was like RuPaul. And even then, like RuPaul in the beginning was just kind of categorized as a man who was a crossdresser, and so like that was my terminology of understanding what like a feminine black like man was. And so when I started my YouTube channel, I realized there was no like gay, black, queer, feminine person online that had the experiences that I had, that, like grew up in more of an inner city area and like went to a very inner city school. And like made it out and is like doing good for who they are. I left home at 18 and never looked back. And to be able to say that I'm 29 and like surviving on my own has been like my hugest accomplishment, to say that I've done it on my own. And so the real reason why I stick so strong to my YouTube channel, even when there's days where I'm like, only 5 people have looked at your video, is because I hope that somewhere down the line, someone can search like gay, black, or whatever, and like I will pop up and they will see an example of somebody when they were 21, wilding out, drunk in Vegas, to someone now who like openly talks about their struggles and going to therapy and just understanding how to be a better person in life.
Oh, that's beautiful. I definitely think like it doesn't have to be a lot of people that are watching. Just having that one person that watches, that can change so much. Good for you for doing it and keep on pushing, because man, it's hard to do it on your own, and it's hard to have the willingness to keep on going even if there are things in the world that tell you no, and a lot of our society tells us no. So man, you're doing great.
Absolutely.
And I am so proud.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of you. I see everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Can you talk about there's something called Prism that you were a part of? Can you talk a little bit more about that? Is that something that you co-founded?
Yeah. So Prism was a club at Northern Arizona that was already started. PRISM stands for People Representing Individuals and Sexual Minorities. It's where I first met Christian, my drag mother, who was at the time a staff advisor. And I went to PRISM because I went to NAU and I didn't know anybody in Arizona, didn't know a soul. And so I was at this school where I knew nobody, and this girl I met was like, you should check out this club that's meant for like gay people on campus, right? And I was like, okay, fine, like I'll go check it out. And the night I happened to go there, they were electing people for their board, so their e-board. And don't ask me why I decided to like think that I could join an e-board and have never spent one day at the club, but I did. And I actually ran for vice president and won that
Wow.
same.
Yeah.
And and so that started my PRISM journey. In PRISM, we founded a drag show that happened once a semester, so twice a year, that locals and Flagstaff and in the school could come and see. It was at the Orpheum, which was like the biggest theater that they had there. It held about 1,200 people. And so we would put on these drag shows and we would pack it out. It would be filled to 12. And I mean, we made the club so much money. We were one of the club that had our own individual bank accounts with money in it. And it was amazing. It was one of the most just craziest experiences ever to be in a club that really ran like a business and like taught me so much about drag and like to be able to perform in front of people. It was amazing. And that is where I got in a connection with Arizona Pride. It's how I was able to travel all through Arizona and perform as Coco. It was my connection when I moved back to San Jose, and like San Jose State reached out. So PRISM is like, it's crazy, honestly.
Oh, wow. It like catapulted you to where you are now.
Absolutely. 100%.
Can you talk about an experience that you will never forget through that?
I mean, there were so many memories, honestly. PRISM, we went from a club that really wasn't recognized on campus at all because it was just the group of like gays, honestly, to like a club where like everyone was talking about, and like people would come and ask us if they could like set up booths at our drag show to like promote their stuff. And it was the first time I felt like the school really recognized that there was a group of gay people that were like essentially running stuff and
Mm.
like correctly. And I think the fact that we were the only club that was given an office, we had a huge office right next to the ASU office. We were the only club to ever do it. And it was amazing, honestly, to see like people not care anymore about like who someone slept with in their private time or what someone did. It was just genuine respect because they understood that yes, this is our lifestyle, but we're also here for business, and I'm here to obtain a degree, and I'm here to do what everyone else is here to do. And it was just amazing.
Crazy. Were you guys charging for those booths coming in?
Oh yeah, girl. Okay, so honestly, like I said, we were the club that had like any money in a bank account, right? Like, and so ASU didn't fund us for anything, so we didn't like have to ask to do a drag show. We just went
Mm.
out and bought the Orpheum basically, and like we
Whoa.
would go on retreats that the e-board would pay for. We went on a retreat every semester for the leadership team, and like it was only because we were able to raise literally thousands of dollars doing this
Jeez.
drag show. And like people would be like, who would want to come out and see people dressed up? And like everybody did,
Yeah.
everyone came. Like it was like $120 to rent a booth, girl.
Whoo, that's amazing. My goodness.
Money.
Wow. Can you speak on your first drag show? How was that experience? Walk us through it. Like what you were wearing, what you were feeling.
Oh my
How was the
god,
environment?
yes, absolutely. So my first drag show technically was actually at PRISM. So I will tell you my first drag show outside of PRISM because that
Okay.
was the big moment. It was the first time I got paid outside of PRISM to like do a show in front of people. And it was at a little bar in Flagstaff, Arizona during Pride. They had set up this stage outside with lights and put chairs all around it. And so you would come out of the bar onto the stage basically.
Oh.
And I had a white and black pencil skirt with a mesh white see-through top with a dingy
Ow.
blonde curly wig. Very old wig that was like passed down, honey, through my drag family. And I performed Super Bass by Nicki Minaj, and I performed Best Thing I Never Had by Beyonce.
Oh.
And it was like life changing for me. It was the first time people like, and it was probably like 20 or 30 people in the crowd. But it was the first time people like were clapping and like singing along. And like, I'm an emotional person. I cried during the Beyonce number,
Oh my goodness.
and people like loved it. It was amazing. It was amazing. And because of that started really my kind of, I think, name in Arizona. And then from that moment on, other bars would book us. I had a group called the Fishy Four.
How did that come about?
How did the name come about? So,
Yeah.
within the gay community, if someone does drag, and you look, what they will say presenting as like a born woman, you call yourself fishy. Me and my drag mother, and at the time, one of our drag sisters and another girl got in a group, and we called ourselves the Fishy Four. And so when people would book us, they would specifically book the Fishy Four.
Okay.
And we just went all around Arizona doing it, literally.
Wow. And that was for how long?
2 years, close to 2, 3 years.
Jeez, that's so
Yeah,
crazy.
2014, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, about 3 years. It's how I paid my rent. It's how I survived doing drag.
That is so amazing. So you go by Coco Minaj as your divine feminine self. How do you get to that name? Or how did you get to that name?
So, I was about to perform with Prism for the first time. And at the time, my drag mother, Candy, was like, "You need a name. Like, what is your name going to be?" And I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with all these different names. At first, I wanted to be Chanel. I wanted my name to be Chanel.
Mhm.
And I was going to say Coco Chanel. And then somebody was like, "That's so like played out. Like, don't do that." And so I was like, "Fine." And I love Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is like, outside of Beyonce, she's kind of like one of my top like 5 performers that I love, and I'll just drop everything to watch.
Mhm.
And I pulled so much like energy from her, and like her rap style and her flows. It really just kind of like made me, in a sense. And so I thought Minaj, and I put Coco and Minaj, and I was like, Coco Minaj, there you go.
When you go to do a show, is like Minaj the one artist that you always want to like put into the show?
Yeah. So in my earlier career, I would only perform Nicki Minaj. And then I had to get out of just doing Nicki, because, you want to show that you can do other stuff, and I can be versatile and do like Celine Dion and like all these other people who I love. And so eventually I went towards doing a Nicki Minaj song, and then I would do another song. And
Mhm.
so the way that drag works, literally, sometimes when you're a new drag queen, you usually only get one number during a show. So you got to make that number count, right? So my Nicki Minaj number would always kill, because I loved rapping Nicki Minaj. And then as I kind of got my name known, I went from doing like one number to like 3 numbers, from like 3 numbers to like 5 numbers. And so at one
Mhm.
point, like I was doing up to maybe like 6 numbers.
How would that take a toll on you? Did you just go in like Energizer Bunny and be all in it, or did you have to like take those pauses and stuff for you?
Yes. So normally, unless you do like a one-person show, which some people do, you usually have other people in between your numbers. So like I would perform a number, and then 2 other girls would come and perform. So during that time, I would be doing like a costume change, and like maybe adding something to my makeup, changing my hair and stuff, and just kind of getting ready for the next number. Normally, the day of the drag show, I would always take off work. Like I just wouldn't go to work the day of and the day after, because I usually need the whole day to preparate and like get my energy up and just get ready for the show.
How has therapy been? Do you
Yeah,
mind talking about that?
absolutely, of course. Therapy has been like amazing. Honestly, I decided to go to therapy maybe a little bit over a year, or maybe like a year ago, maybe like a little bit more than that. But I decided to start going to therapy because I started to recognize that I had very similar patterns in relationships with people. and I wanted to figure out how to get out of that pattern because to me it started to feel like it was unhealthy. And so I, buckled down and made the decision to like go and like talk to someone. Very nerve wracking. I realized I have a lot of like trust issues and like not wanting to like open up is like a huge thing. And so I've been able to just like learn how to get out of these like I don't want to say bad habits, but like unnecessary habits that I don't need to have anymore. But it's been amazing, honestly.
I also decided to do therapy after 3 attempts of doing it. For me, it was like not being able to trust the person that I was going to go talk to, and what if they hear something that I say, they might like judge me. Or for me, coming from a Latina background, it was not really normalized that we go get therapy and talk about what we're feeling and how things around us are affecting us. And I'm very much like to myself, I wasn't really able to open up to a lot of people because I felt like I needed to safeguard my feelings and emotions. And it wasn't until I got to therapy that I
Right.
was like, you need to open up and be able to trust, because that is one step of becoming your true self, of realizing there is fear in this world, but you can move past it, and you've done it before. I don't
Right.
know about you, but like fear has been a huge factor in like not trying to do things, for sure.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%.
When I think about the generation of today, I feel like they're more open to conversating and talking about, what's going on in the world and how they see things. And what do you feel like was something that going through college or even with therapy that was missing from making that connection and being able to open up?
I think to like your point, like I think now's generation, right? Like the ones underneath us, um, they are growing into being able to be very open and free about who they are and what they do and what they like and what they don't like, which a part of me, I love that. And I think social media has played a huge part into that, right? Because on social media, everybody has a voice. You can have 10 followers, you can have a million followers. You have a voice, you
Yeah.
have a following. It's just how do you see this following and how do you like what do you do? Like what are you doing to like make your voice known, right? Um I think for our generation, and to your point of growing up in a like a black household, you're taught to only really speak when it is absolutely necessary, right? Like, so in a sense, like me going through therapy, I learned that although I'm sure my family didn't mean any harm by it, I know they only thought they were doing the utmost best way to raise me, but in a sense, my voice was silenced, and it carried through the years of me being bullied for being gay and for being feminine and for being different. And what I learned is everyone always thought, oh, you have so much energy, you're so loud, and you're so funny, and you're so this. And that was me and myself protecting myself because I didn't really want people to know deep down inside I was like this little broken person, very fragile, very emotional, like all this stuff. I put out this outer person that was always happy, that was always done up, that was always this, always that, always seen doing something. And deep down inside, I felt very alone. And I had to just open up about that, and I had to be very real with myself about that. And I had to start loving on the little person who was broken inside and who didn't have the words, right? And had
Yeah.
I not gone to therapy and understood it, I would have believed what everyone said about me through the years. And like just my response to stuff, I was told I was angry. I was told like people would never love me because I was different. Like I've been told so many different things through the years that had I not understood how to love myself, I don't know where I would be. I don't know what I would be doing, honestly. And I count a lot of that to going to therapy. And people laughed at me for going to therapy. My family was like, "What are you like? Are you sure Black people we don't go to therapy? That is not something that you do." And it opened up so many conversations that I've made my family sit down and realize, like, hey, like this stops here. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna stop doing this because it is effective to people in our family that don't say anything and never say anything. And so it's hard to be that person, but I feel like it has to happen with us. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I have a responsibility to somewhat make it easier for the next Chris that's going to come up, and that might just be being open and having a conversation.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. It stops here.
Hmm.
Exactly. Like being able
Done.
to just say that is, it's just like a weight has lifted. Because definitely, I feel it.
Yeah.
The family generational mindset needs to be broken, and there needs to be
Hmm.
a new form of thinking, because what ifs are not negative. What ifs can be positive. It's just about
Absolutely.
changing the mindset. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything that you would want to tell the younger generation from everything that you've learned up until now?
Absolutely. I think if I could really leave like words of wisdom to the next like gay generation, um, I would always say just be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself. Um, I think as people, we generally walk this life alone, right? And we have made it seem like having a companion or being family oriented or having a lot of friends around, that somehow fulfills you. And I think you need community. I think community is a beautiful thing. I love my community that I've made.
Mm.
Um, but I would not be able to love my community if I didn't find a way to love myself first. And it took years. It took lots of struggles. It took a lot of pretending that I loved myself, going back and figuring out I lied to myself. Like it took a lot of healing. It took understanding that I was the bad person in certain situations. I was not always the victim. And I had to be honest because I felt like for so long I lived in this bubble that like it always happens to me. It's always
Mm.
me. I'm always the one that gets the short end of the stick. And I had to start to flip how I looked at myself and my life and start to just think about how blessed I really am and how far I've come. And I can say that I've done all that genuinely by myself. And my family loves me and I love my family and I love my friends. But I honestly can say I've done everything by myself, and I'm proud of that because I know people who are afraid to do anything by themselves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I just feel like you got to love yourself. And that's
Yeah.
to anybody, like anybody, like you got to learn how to love yourself even when you feel like you like don't deserve love.
Mm. Oh my God. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Of
For
course.
everyone listening, I hope you take these words, cuz man, it's definitely a struggle trying to find your way through your journey, and it's definitely a personal one. We all are unique individuals and we have community for sure. But at the end of the day, you got to be there for yourself in order to be there for others. Fill your cup up
Yes.
fully and overflow so that that overflow can
Yes.
carry forward.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. The way I like to end these conversations is through something called Visionary Ones, which is a series of
Hmm.
questions that I ask that you have to answer with either one word or one sentence. You ready?
Oh, okay. I'm ready. Yes.
All right. Okay, first question. If you could make a rule that everyone had to follow, what would that rule be?
Oh my God.
Take
If
your
I had to
time.
make one rule, okay. If I had to make one rule and people had to follow it, oh my God. I honestly would probably say it would have to be something with like listen really like open your ears and listen. And I hope that makes sense, but like, 'cause I don't want to like mess the game up, but I would really make a rule that I think people have to really listen from like within, like really open your ears and hear what someone is telling you when you're communicating.
Well, why don't we dig further? Why?
Okay, thank you. I was like, I don't want to mess up her game.
No, no, it's okay.
Okay, so right now in my life, I'm really working on hearing what people around me are saying, and like I feel like I always talk about being an effective communicator. And in order for you to understand how communication works, you got to be open to listening to what someone else is saying. And you have to kind of be open to understanding why somebody thinks the way they think. I think a
Mm.
lot of things in life and with people, we mess up a lot because we really aren't listening. We really aren't taking the time to understand where the other person is coming from. And if I could make one rule, it would honestly be for people to just take a moment and listen to what they're hearing and truly understand it. And I think the outcome would be crazy. It would probably do wonders for the world, honestly.
That's something that I didn't ask you previously because you majored in
Yeah,
communications, right?
I did major in communications.
So that is coming from there, right? Like, speak more
Yeah,
on that. Speak more on that.
I just have okay, so okay, my whole life I had tried to figure out what do you want to do with your life, right? All through high school, because you were Cindy was somebody, you were somebody who were like very good in school. Like, like you were in clubs, you knew where you wanted to go, your direction, like I knew you were going to go after high school and do something. Do you know what I mean? And like people always told me I had to major in communications because I
Mm.
like to talk. That was my thing. And so when I got to college, I figured out there were so many different outlets with communication. And and it was like, well, what do you want to do with communications? And I always decided that I wanted to be like an inspirational speaker. That's what I went to school for, was to somehow be an inspirational speaker. And I just, it changed my life, honestly. The way that I talk, my presence, the way that I can command a room. It's things that I sometimes now brush off when people tell me, but these
Mm.
are things I worked years to be able to stand in front of people and just talk and be real and be authentic. And like I would have never done that had I not gotten the tools and like everything I got from like going to school and majoring in it.
So amazing. I feel like our paths are definitely destined because
Yes.
if that did not happen, then you wouldn't be doing YouTube. You wouldn't be doing drag.
Yep.
And I mean,
Yep.
wow, how amazing is life? But yeah, I also want to add that, I didn't have a path of like where
Yeah.
I was headed, honestly.
Hmm.
It was just like out of luck. Well, I
Yeah.
thought it was out of luck, or at least the universe was on my side because I did not know what college to go to. I randomly just applied to any four because of the fee waiver. And then
Right.
landed on Long Beach and I took the photo route and then from there it got me into the art world but taking that risk and pushing yourself forward to just move gets you where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. 100%. You sometimes have to follow the little voice. You got to follow the path, even when like everyone's laughing at you, even when people are like, you're crazy, it'll never happen. Sometimes you have to be like, this is what's meant for me.
Mm,
And it is what it is. Whoever comes will come, whoever goes will go.
yes. All right, question number 2. What is your favorite song right now and why?
What is my favorite song right now and why? Can I look at my phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, because see, all right, girl, you're probably gonna laugh at me because I have a different mood for everything. Sometimes I'm in my hot girl shit and like, I want to hear like ratchet stuff. Sometimes I'm in like a soul mood and like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I want to feel deep. Let me see, what is the last song? Um, oh, okay, so honestly, the one song that's popping up so much, it's so crazy, is Rain on Me by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande.
Oh.
Which is very fitting for Pride Month, honestly. I think that's why I brought it back. But it is an amazing song, truly, honestly.
That's beautiful. I know that on your YouTube channel you review music. Have you done that song
Yes.
yet?
Yes, it is one of my actually biggest videos on my channel. I think it has a little over like 2.5 views, like 2.5K or something like that. The song came out last year during the pandemic, and I re-picked up my channel again last year when the pandemic started because I didn't want to get lost in the pandemic. I didn't want to just become somebody who stayed idle. I wanted to like stay focused and stay driven and stay motivated. And so I brought back my YouTube channel, and one of the first videos I did was a reaction to that song, and it took off.
Hey. Wow. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. If there was one thing you would tell your younger self today, What would that be?
If I could tell my younger self something, what would it be? Probably it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, honestly. Like, it's okay to be you, and it's okay to be like whatever that means. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to grieve. Like, I just felt like in my life I did a lot of first before it happened for a lot of people around me. Just in life in general, like, I lost my mom during high school and things like that, and I dealt with that all through college and going into my adult years, and now I'm having friends who are losing their parents and things like that, and so it makes it seem like I'm this like huge mature person, but that's really not the case. It's just I went through it at a younger age, but I don't think I no one ever just stopped me and said it's okay. Like people like coddled me and helped me get through, like, but like no one ever just stopped and was like, it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. And cuz like sometimes you don't have words for how you feel or what's going on.
Yeah.
I would definitely just tell my younger self it is okay.
Finish this sentence. 1 year from now, I will.
Wow. 1 year from now I will be happy. I will I would have traveled. I would have gone to first places that I've never been before, and I'm super excited for it. And I can't wait to share the journey and experience new things. Um, and I will be loved. I'm loving on myself all year, and I can't wait to see what a year of loving on myself will do for me.
Can you name any places that you will be going to?
Yes, I will be going to Hawaii for the first time by myself in November. And I have 2 to 3 trips that I'm planning that will be out of the country because I got my passport last year. So,
Ooh, that's exciting. Safe travels
yeah,
and
thank
enjoy
you.
yourself. What does community mean to you?
Community, I mean, it means a lot. Community means like having essentially like family, just kind of having like a chosen tribe. I am somebody that believes that you have your family that you're born into, right? And then you have your chosen family. And those are usually people and friends that you've placed in your life that you have some type of connection with. In my older years, as I am getting older, I have really worked on having a tight circle. It's not so much as who I know anymore. It's not so much as how many people are around me and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of more about like that tight knit group, those close people who I can call whenever.
Yeah.
And I have made that my community now in my like older years. And I've learned it's not always people who you thought it would be. I have friends from elementary that I love dearly, but I wouldn't consider them a part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you'll never know who will come and go in your community.
For everyone listening, can you let them know what's coming for you and where they can find you?
Absolutely. I have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I have a lot of new videos planned, just different ideas that I'm gonna play with. I finally have a little coin, so I'm able to like upgrade some features, honey. So new stuff coming. But you can find me literally on any platform. I'm on everything from Facebook to TikTok to Instagram. Everything is Respect the Fem. That's just Respect the Fem, FEM. Yeah,